The dog days of summer. It can be, and usually is, the hottest time of the year. Now, what is Dog Days? We'll take a look at how it got its name, and we'll look at some of the truths and myths of Dog Days in these mountains especially. Now, this time of year, temperatures can get in the high 90s, close to 100, and a heat index of over 100, 110 sometimes. It's so humid. How do you beat this heat? And in these valley floors, it can get 100 degrees down low in these mountain hollers and valleys. And to beat the heat, you can go up top these mountains and it's 20 degrees cooler on top of these mountains and 6,000 feet up. So it could be 90 degrees in the valley and 70 degrees on top of these mountains. And all these cool mountain streams out of these hollers and springs, they can be 60 degrees. And a cool breeze blowing down these hollers. And our mountain lakes, it's so beautiful to get on, to beat the heat. And just seeing the beauty and beating us so heat. And our mountain farms, early in the morning, a fog lifting off of them. Ain't they beautiful and cool mornings? But what is Dog Day? People think it's a bunch of dogs or something about dogs, but really it has nothing to do with dogs whatsoever. So we'll look at how it got its name and some of the myths and truths about this. Now this is our galaxy, the Milky Way. So many stars. And ancient man has been looking up at the sky since he was put here on this earth. And the ancient astronomers, the Greeks and the Romans, in ancient times has always studied these skies, the seasons, the stars that's showing in them seasons and them period of time, and they named all of them. And here during the Dog Days, this is what they noticed it was in the skies in the month of July and August, Orion and the stars. And how did it get its name? By their imagination, the dog star. And this just represents a dog in the constellations that they named, from July 3rd to August 11th. And it's usually the brightest star in the sky at this time of the period of the Dog Day. Well, that's how Dog Days got its name, the scientific, professional term. But to the other day old country people, mountain people, that didn't mean nothing to them. They had to work in this heat. This time of year, working these fields, cutting hay for their livestock. So much to do on these farms. And all their crops. This is the time of year when the crops started coming in. This time of the year in its hot Dog Days. And they spent a lot of time canning. They canned everything that they could can, these self-sufficient people. And this was hard work this time of year. But they'd find a shade tree around these old homes you've noticed, the old homesteads. Big fruit trees, big shade trees out behind the house because they didn't have no air conditioning. And they just found a cool spot wherever they could in these mountains. Now these people, our elders, they had sayings and superstitions, and about anything of any time of the year you could think of in these mountains. And it's been handed down for generation after generation. Some has truth, some are myth. And my grandmother here, she could tell you anything you need to know. The signs, the seasons, the sayings, the superstitions about these mountains. Now these old mountain people in these Appalachias especially, they had superstitions and sayings, cures, observations of stuff that's happened, and they've lived by for hundreds of years in these old mountains. And let's just look at some of their myths and some of the truths of some of these sayings that they have about dog days. The first one on this little list is cuts and wounds are hard to heal. They're hard to heal this time of year because the humidity's up so high and the heat, and bacteria really thrives in these kind of conditions, and it can cause an infection really easy. So that's a truth. And they say that number 2, the morning dew is poisonous to open wounds during this time. Well, I think that's a truth too, because of just what bacteria is growing around in the water and on the vegetation. So you have to be careful with an open wound. And number 3, no swimming with open wounds. Well, I think that's a truth too, because if you've got an open wound and you've got some kind of bacteria or something in the water, it can cause a bad infection, even bad ear infections too, even if you don't have a wound. So that's a truth. It don't matter if it's in a public pool or just a lake. This can happen anywhere. So you have to be careful. And number 4 is an old saying that snakes go blind during this time. Now, I've heard that a long time, and some of you all probably have too. So they are this time of year really bad, shedding their skin anyway, in this heat. So it is some truth and not no truth to it. So it could go either way. But I know these old snakes, that's why I love to metal detect. But when one's sitting under a rock, I'm not really thrilled about sliding up under one of them rocks and a snake laying there. So that has some truth in it too. And number 5, I think it's true. Fish are harder to catch because of the heat in the summertime, these dog days. Well, it's true. I've lived that and experienced that many a times. Now, you can catch fish during dog days, but it seems like the fish, the water temperature gets about 90, almost 90 degrees, 85, 90 degrees surface temp. But down below, the water about 8 or 10 foot down, is about 10, 20 degrees cooler, a thermal line, a little drawing here. So the fish go deep down into the channels, and they're harder to catch. But you can still catch fish, but they're just a little bit harder to catch. They ain't on the banks like they are in the spring. And number 6, it says that on the first day of dog days, if it rains, it'll rain on every day dog days in that time period. Well, I've seen it rain a lot, but not every day. But we have had some really bad storms too during this period. So that holds a little truth, and then a little of it stretches. But there you go, that's number 6. And number 7, here's one I don't understand, and I didn't really hear that much, but it's on the list. They say that ghost or paranormal activity increases during dog days because of the heat. Well, I don't know if there's any truth or not to that, but I know There's weird things in these mountains and these old homes that will forever be imprinted in time that we just do not understand. Only the good Lord has them answers. So I do not understand that one. And number 8, they say in this heat, dog days, that dogs and people can go mad easy during this dog day time. Well, I know dogs is bad to get rabies, rabbit, in this heat. I've heard that many a time. So there is some truth to that. As far as man going mad, why, there's crazy people year round. So that don't really mean nothing there. And these old foggy mornings that ain't even on the list, that for every fog you have in August is the snow you're going to have in February, 6 months out. I've always heard that, and I know you country people have heard that too. So there you go. There's so many little truths, myths, superstitions, and sayings in these mountains for all the different seasons. And it just amazes me the stuff that I've lived in these mountains all my life and still hear things I've never even known about. But anyway, guys, it's a hot time of year. I want y'all to stay cool out there. Enjoy your summer. Have a good time, but be safe and take care. So I want to say God bless every one of you, and I'll see you next time.